If you're living in an apartment for 1 year, 6 months, or you just signed a lease for an apartment that you already know is not going to be your forever home, you should not be decorating it the same way you would decorate your dream home. The reason why so many people regret how they decorate their temporary apartments is because they treat them like permanent spaces instead of for what they actually are. They'll go out and buy furniture for their exact specific kind of weird floor plan. They'll paint themselves into a personality corner, or they just invest in things that will only work in that specific unit. And then a year later, they move, and suddenly nothing fits, nothing flows, and all they've done is spent $2,000 trying to make a place that they were never staying in look finished. If you don't know, my name is Cooper, and of course today we're going to be talking about temporary apartments. I talk a lot about how to design your dream space on my channel, but I wanted to put something out there for you guys that was not for the homeowner or the person who plans to live in their space forever, because it can be really overwhelming moving into your first apartment or moving into an empty space, knowing that you're going to leave in a year or two, and you just don't know what to do because you don't want to commit to anything too crazy, but you also still want your apartment to look nice. And today I'm going to teach you guys how to decorate an apartment that doesn't waste your money, doesn't make it look like a rental, doesn't feel temporary, and is not going to screw you when you decide to move. The biggest mistake that I see people making in their temporary apartments is that they're decorating for the room instead of decorating for their actual life. So most people will walk into their rental home and go, okay, this is the living room, so let me buy a sofa that fits on this exact wall. And while the rationale and logic are there behind that thinking, it is going to present you with a little bit of a problem when you decide to move. Because what happens when that wall is a different size and your couch is now way too big? The trick is you don't want to buy for that wall specifically, you want to buy for your future floor plan. When designers and decorators are approaching a space, a lot of the times they will think in modules and not necessarily in specific rooms. When we will design, a temporary space for a client, whether that be a corporate office or a small apartment for a tech job, we try not to design around the square footage specifically. We will instead design for portability. So instead of walking in and asking yourself, how will I fill this space? You should ask yourself, what kind of furniture system in here is going to work for my next 3 apartments? Because that is a completely different question. That is very different. And you might be asking, Cooper, what even makes an item portable in the first place? Like, what does that even mean when it comes to furniture? Well, I have a little test for you guys to use to decide whether an item is portable or not. You need to ask yourself, if I move into a bigger space, if I move into a smaller space, a space with a different layout, or a space that has a completely different style direction, will this still work? And if the answer is no, then I would probably avoid it. Obviously here, give yourself some grace because not everything is always going to be 100% perfect. But if you scored an apartment with some really cheap rent and decide to get a huge sectional sofa and you're moving the next year and you're probably going to end up in a studio, that was probably not the best purchase for you to make. I'm sorry, but those kind of sofas specifically are such a conundrum when it comes to small apartments. It's like everyone buys a giant L-shaped sectional because it fits their current living room, and then they move and it ends up blocking a small doorway or is just not working in the other space. What designers do in this instance is avoid overly specific shapes in temporary spaces. So instead of that L-shaped sofa, maybe find a 3-seater sofa that you like equally as much. Modular seating can be really great here too, as it's really easy to kind of move around. Chairs that are a little bit visually and physically lighter, so you can move them around the space, and if you move somewhere else, they can float in the middle of the room. And maybe some side tables that can separate. Flexibility is really going to be important here, so try and prioritize that, because the more specific something gets, usually the more expensive it gets. And you're probably like, Cooper, well, if I follow this, I'm just gonna have the most boring apartment on this earth. Well, for these apartments, I like to do an 80-20 ratio. 80% of the pieces should be adaptable foundation pieces, and only about 20% of your items should be hyper-specific and super personalized. Good foundation pieces are going to be things like a nice statement 3-seater sofa that you really like, a really good versatile rug, usually something around an 8x10, just because most living rooms tend to fit that. Some really good table lamps. Portable table lamps are great because you can always move them with you, or just ones that are a little bit more low profile and smaller. You're of course going to need a really good solid wood coffee table anywhere you go, and maybe some solid dining chairs, maybe just like a set of 2. These are the kind of pieces that you're going to take with you throughout multiple homes. And you might be saying, okay, the other 20%, well, what is that? Well, this is where you can kind of experiment and have a little bit of fun. Things like art, textiles, home decor, throw pillows, and some statement objects. These kind of things are going to be really great because they're small, so you can take them with you, but they're also something that's on the cheaper end, so they're going to be easily replaceable if your vibe shifts. Something that I think people really need to realize here is that they need to stop trying to fix the architecture of their apartments or their homes or, whatever it might be. Just stop it. You are not going to be staying there for a long time. Stop trying to correct, the kitchen cabinets or the hardware, the bathroom tile or the vanity or the hardwired ceiling light. Like, you don't need to do that. You are not on HGTV. You are leasing an apartment. Again, here I really want to emphasize that this is for short-term rentals, meaning that if you're somewhere for 2 or 3 years, these things might be worth replacing, but if you're going to be there only for a couple more months, it's definitely not going to be worth your time. Instead of trying to fix permanent fixtures, you need to shift your attention. And if something is really ugly and like really permanent, maybe add in some more layered lighting to kind of create a dim glow in the space, or introduce a little bit more texture or contrast at eye level that's going to bring your eyes elsewhere. It's kind of this game of like what areas of your home are going to grab the eye's attention most. So like if your cabinets are like a really ugly, disgusting brown, you don't need to go out and paint them. Introduce some better lighting, a good focal point, and just a nice big rug, and your eyes will immediately be drawn away. In my previous apartment, I had a purple kitchen, but this purple was not a good purple, and there wasn't much I could do about it. So I shifted my attention and changed gears to focus more on the living area, and so the kitchen wasn't even like a thought in your brain when you walked into the space. And we need to talk about lighting here because lighting is one of the most important things in these small spaces. If something is temporary or if you don't have a high budget, lighting is going to be your way to go to make your space feel a little bit more high end and just so much warmer and cozier. Temporary apartments almost always have horrible overhead lighting. It'll be flat, cold, unflattering, and aggressive. And the fastest way to make your temporary apartment feel a little bit more intentional is to turn off that overhead light and create a lighting ladder. A lighting ladder is something that I just came up with and invented. But basically what this is just like having 3 different light sources in each room. At least one warm bulb and at least one mid-height light. Because designers and decorators layer lighting vertically. A lot of the times, temporary renters will just rely on that one overhead fixture, and that's why a lot of the times these places will start to feel like waiting rooms in like a dentist office. But no, you don't need to rewire anything or do any structural work. All you're going to need is a floor lamp, a table lamp, a plug-in wall sconce, and it will add architectural interest without even having to drill a hole in the wall. In terms of lighting temperature, you want to always make sure that your lighting is under 3000 kelvins, and that will really help create the nice warmth, even if the lamp isn't the most expensive or the most high-end or visually appealing thing. The next problem that I see people encounter quite often, and probably it's my most pet peeving thing, I don't even know how to describe it, but I really don't like when people live in a rental and then they think that they can only buy rental sized furniture. If you guys don't know, there's a whole industry of rental sized furniture out there, of these tiny little curved sofas with like a scalloped edge, or like a modular sofa that only has 2 pieces and one is super long. But this is a huge mistake. Like, you are seriously shooting yourself in the foot with this. Small furniture in a small apartment is going to make it feel smaller. That is just a fact. It also ensures that none of it's going to work if you move into a space that's larger. What you need to be doing here instead is buying full-sized pieces, but just buy less furniture overall. No, you don't need to go out and buy 2 accent chairs for your tiny little sofa. Instead, just buy one nice, big, comfy place to sit. For example, a normal sized sofa in an apartment is going to make it feel grounded, but using 3 tiny chairs is going to make it feel chaotic. Designers will use scale to create permanence, even in temporary spaces. Another huge misconception that I think people have is thinking that they can't drill in their own space. Everyone thinks, temporary design means no drilling, no holes, no hardware, no commitment. But the real truth of just life is that most leases allow for small nail holes, and if they don't, what you can do is just go get some spackle at the store. It's like $2 and patch it up at the end of the day. It will take you 5 seconds. It's really not that big of a deal. Because one of the biggest culprits in making a temporary space feel really, really tiny and ugly is that they have incorrectly sized artwork. They'll have art that's really small, or gallery walls that just kind of float randomly with no specific direction, curtains that will stop at the window frame. But you don't have to stick to all of these typical rules. You can go to a local vintage store, local thrift store. A lot of the times you can find find some really large artwork for pretty cheap. I remember in my last video, I went to a thrift store and I saw this like huge painting. Like it was almost the size of a whole wall and it was about $52. Like that is not that crazy. And in terms of window treatments and drapery, just mount your curtains from the ceiling. It'll make the space feel much more high end, much more cohesive, much nicer. And even if you don't want to drill, command hooks exist. Industrial grade adhesive exists. Ceiling mounted curtain tracks can be temporary because oversized artwork and full-size curtains create visual permanence, while teeny tiny gallery walls and short curtains just scream that you don't live there. Another misconception about temporary design is that it has to be sterile. But no, it does not. All it needs to be is curated a little bit more specifically. I see a lot of people having the mindset of, oh, I'm only going to live here for X amount of months, so I'm just going to keep it bare. Because you're not going to be happy. It doesn't matter if you're interested in interior design or not. You are not going to be happy living in that space. You're going to come home, you're just going to want to sleep there, and then get out as soon as you wake up. But temporary apartments should feel like you. One of the best ways to do this is to incorporate objects with personality that will travel well. Books, art, textiles, ceramics, all of those things together will create a nice portable atmosphere that doesn't necessarily have to tie you down. And one of the things that I think is really important to take into account when you're doing a temporary space is that you're going into the design process also thinking about your move out plan, because your temporary design is going to need to dismantle really easily. So you're going to want to avoid, built-in looking shelves or ultra specific storage solutions. Instead, you want to invest in things that are going to be freestanding, stackable, and modular. Those three words are going to be your best friend if you live in a temporary space. And if you're going to take anything away from this video, I want you to take away this. This formula is going to be the most important thing to keep in mind when going about decorating your temporary space. Foundation first, lighting second, textiles third, and personality last. Do not start with decor. Do not start with wall art. Do not start with kitchen containers. Start with the pieces that are actually going to survive, and then layer on top of those items. And when it comes to those foundational pieces, I always recommend doing something a little bit more bold or a little bit more creative that you really like. Because in these kind of small temporary apartments, they're just so cold. They lack any kind of warmth and personality. And so bringing in something that's a little bit more interesting is really going to help make it feel like home for you. At the end of the day, temporary apartments are not supposed to look permanent. They're meant to be adaptable. And the people who decorate them well are not the ones who go out and spend the most money. They're the people who are thinking long term. Design is not about impressing the space you're in. It's about investing in the life that you're trying to build. And if you're somebody who moves often, who rents, who isn't in your forever home just yet, that does not mean that you deserve a temporary feeling life. It just means that you're gonna have to decorate a little bit smarter. And if this video helped you out, go ahead and subscribe. We have a really great community here on YouTube. I am here every single week on Thursday and Sunday at 6 a.m. PST. And if you guys forgot, this is literally what I do for a living. I'm an interior decorator. I offer full service design as well as per room consulting sessions where we can come up with a plan to help you with a space that you're really struggling with. There's a ton of really great information about it on my website, and click the link below to book your first consultation. I love you guys so much, and I will see you very soon.